you remember this guy? Put the bald communist. You remember this guy? The bald communist? We laughed at this guy, kind of. I mean, most of America will dismiss this guy as a kook. But I believe that is a terrible, terrible mistake. He's calling for the destruction of the United States of America. He's an American. I hope and I pray that I'm wrong. I mean, the economy, I'm not wrong about the economy. Maybe I am. I hope I am. It'd be wonderful if printing more money and then spending it on turtle tunnels will kickstart our economy, but I don't see it. Somehow or another, I don't have the confidence that it's going to work, but maybe the president's right. But if I'm right, the worst is not behind us, and there is fear and hunger ahead of us. Don't be involved in fear and hunger. Prepare yourself now. History has shown us that you cannot spend your way into prosperity. It doesn't work. And that's what we're pinning our hopes on right now. That and green jobs, which Spain and others are finding out the hard way, it doesn't work. America is going to be presented with a choice. We have to get off of this track. We have to back up. We have to learn what this period was about. We have to learn what this period was about in our history as well. You can't give government more power, because hunger and fear are powerful ingredients. People will listen to whoever it is. Maybe it's not Barack Obama, maybe it's the next guy. 10 years ago, this stuff was ridiculous. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it was sounding a little more reasonable, but still, now, there are people watching now that are, in their mom's basement and they're blogging right now, and I'm sure critics are going to call me all sorts of names, and that's fine. This isn't the first time in history we were on the edge of making these choices in our own country. But only because of our reliance on God and our understanding of this period, the Constitution that we survived last time. But oh, as you will see tonight, we came very, very close to not surviving. You've seen these images before. Adolf Hitler surrounded by thousands of adoring fans. Hitler's rise to power in Germany followed World War I. The country was in economic ruin. The Nazis provided money, jobs, and pride. But it was based on the hatred of Jews and the belief in an Aryan racial superiority. This brought Hitler followers by the thousands. Now these pictures, crowds of cheering Nazis, may look familiar, but look closer. This is a crowd of 20,000 enthusiastic Nazi and Nazi sympathizers at Madison Square Garden in New York City. These are American Nazis. A portrait of George Washington, flanked by American flags, Nazi swastikas, and 100 stormtroopers. The date, February 20th, 1939. Thousands of Americans came to hear this man, Fritz Kuhn, at the pro-American rally, celebrating George Washington's birthday. Kuhn was the leader of the German-American Bund, or German-American Federation. Kuhn's address was an anti-Semitic rant calling for, quote, a socially just, white, Gentile-ruled United States, and Gentiles in all position of importance in government, national defense, and educational institutions. Nazis in America. How did this come to be? In the early 1930s, about 25% of Americans were of German descent. Most embraced the U.S. as their new homeland, but soon immigrants brought with them the Nazi doctrine. Nazism had turned around the economy of Germany. Could the collapsed economy of the United States also benefit from the Nazi ideal? In 1933, various Nazi groups in the U.S. merged to form Friends of a New Germany. The group spread Nazi propaganda and anti-Semitism across the U.S. In 1936, a new group, the German-American Bund, was formed. Fritz Kuhn, a German-American citizen, was their leader. Kuhn dubbed himself the American Führer.
The German-American Bund is a patriotic, law-abiding and honor-bound fighting organization of loyal Americans of German extraction, fighting to exterminate Jewish, international, atheistic Bolshevism, to uphold the Constitution and flag of a clean United States.
The Bund gathered socially and ran Nazi camps. The camps were advertised as summer retreats, where you could escape the city, celebrate German heritage, dance, drink, at places like Camp Nordland in New Jersey and Camp Siegfried in Long Island. The camps, hidden as pro-German, pro-American, were attended by adults and families. On the outside, they looked like any other summer camp. But the children were indoctrinated in the ideals of Nazism, breeding young Americans to become full-fledged Nazis. They marched, performed drills in Nazi uniforms, and they were taught about their racial superiority, their potential as Aryan youth. As media scrutiny of the Bund increased, so did anti-Nazi protests, including other German Americans who hated the Nazi image and Jewish American veterans. Instead of quieting down, Bund leader Fritz Kuhn decided to hold the largest rally in their history, Madison Square Garden. These American Nazis showed their true colors, beating a Jewish protester who rushed the stage. Kuhn and others' speeches were nothing more than anti-Semitic rants wrapped in the American flag protected by the First Amendment. Kuhn ended his speech with an appeal. Quote, "For alone you are powerless. The Bund is open to you, provided you are sincere, of good character, of Aryan, white Gentile stock, and an American citizen imbued with patriotic zeal." This was just 3 months after Kristallnacht, the night of broken glass, anti-Jewish riots against the Jewish community of Germany, where nearly 100 Jewish people were killed and thousands of Jewish businesses were destroyed. The Bund tried to bill themselves as American patriots. The press and the American people didn't buy it. Like this Look magazine 1939 expose. Finally, the government caught up with Kuhn. In 1939, he was jailed for embezzling funds from the Bund. At the outbreak of World War II, anti-German feelings were rampant. The Bund was dissolved. Many German Americans, along with Fritz Kuhn, were sent to internment camps. After the war, some unrepentant Nazis were deported to Germany, including unapologetic Fritz Kuhn. These Bund camps were all over the country, not just in the East. And although the Bund made up a small percentage of German Americans, did you even know this was happening? The Nazis were this strong, this big? When the pro-Nazi families came to small farming communities rocked by the Depression, at first the people were hungry and they were fearful, and they thought, okay, the money is coming in. But then the townspeople were shocked at the display. It's amazing that this happened in America. And all of this information really just scratches the surface. This is 20 years of history compacted into a 5-minute piece of film. Some of the footage we found in the film vaults in California while I was out there. We were doing some research on some of the documentaries that we're putting together. One of them is going to be on the hate in America, not the hate groups now, but the hate group of the 1930s, both Nazi and communist, both coming out from Europe. I mean, this is an American paper that I found. It is absolutely incredible. In the back, it is Adolf Hitler, humanitarian peacemaker. And it's actually, I love this, it's actually from Southern Progress. Well, we also found things like this. This is Camp Siegfried. This is right here, Camp Siegfried. We're gathering all of this stuff because I'm making these documentaries, and we're putting them online at glennbeck.com as part of this new Insider Extreme, because we have to know our history. And I want to be able to make these documentaries and push them out to you so you can share them with friends. We'll have one probably about every 2 weeks, and it's incredible stuff. Educate yourself. In doing the research, we found much more disturbing stuff than just this. This, again, is from a postcard from Camp Siegfried. That's the Nazi camp on Long Island. You can buy this T-shirt at a website that sells German-American pride items. Not Nazi memorabilia, no. Proud to be German. Worked for Che Guevara. But you can also buy this. This is a onesie for a baby. Nazi propaganda, written as German-American pride for a baby. Progressives have written and rewritten history. Have you ever heard of the Nazis in America before? We have to know about the Nazis and next the people that led them, and then the communists that were here, so we don't repeat our own history. The left loves to call me Father Coughlin. That's a real insult. I mean, it is, especially now that I've done my research on I know who this man is. I'm going to introduce you to him next.